Hi everyone, Karen here. I've been going through my books recently and I thought, well, I'm going to start utilising them instead of being, ornaments on my bookcase. So I've picked up the complete guide of tarot spreads and I thought, okay, how about we try a couple of spreads out of here. One spread I picked out is called the Ultimate Happiness Spread. Now, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I've put the cards on the table and it's sort of kind of like in a pyramid, but it doesn't start at the top, so we can sort of see if I can pick this up and sort of flip it for you a little bit. I don't know, probably can't see that at all. What was the point of that? Well, basically we've got one card at the top, two cards at the next level, and then we have three cards at the bottom. Two, trying to keep them in the same order as what they were. Okay, just so you can see the order. Now, because it's not a spread that I use all the time, I'm going to go through the book and just read the headings. Okay, as you can see, I've got the cards out already. So position 1 is the High Priestess. So basically position 1, this is what you will get rid of. Now, looking at the High Priestess, I mean, the High Priestess, she's very intuitive, she's very balanced, and those are qualities that you're not going to get rid of. But what you will get rid of is the secrets that you hold. Because once you release the secrets, they're not holding you back anymore. They're not holding you from moving forward. You've released them, you've let them go. Whether you write down in a journal what your secrets are and release them, burn the page after you finish with it. So then surely, once and for all, they've sort of really gone. The only time that they're not gone is when we haven't dealt with them properly, or we haven't really let them go. We keep coming back to them. We keep, picking out a little piece of ash from the fire because it reminds us of, what happened ages ago. Just that little secret I really can't let go. But that's one thing for ultimate happiness, is we need to let go of our secrets, of what we hold that's basically not written in our earthly contract. We are balls of energy and balls of love, forgiveness, hope, wisdom, inspiration, all the rest. I mean, even, other characteristics, it's all love, but on different degrees on the spectrum. Hate is a different form of love because you're protecting yourself, you're feeling hurt, and that's love. It's all love, just dressed in a different way. It's just the emotions that we hold. Some may say that's a load of rubbish, and that's okay, but that's how I see it. So letting go of things that don't make you fruitful. You want to remain in the flow of life. And being in the flow of life means letting go, detach from things that don't sort of ring true to you. So things that take you off balance. As you can see, the High Priestess, she's basically sitting between two pillars. The pomegranates that are behind her is the symbol for the tree of life. Now there's 3 pillars in the tree of life, in the Kabbalistic tree of life. She's sitting between 2 pillars, but she's the 3rd pillar in the middle. She's walking the middle path. So things that take you off balance, that keep you in the grey areas instead of, there is grey areas, but it's not, you're not on one side, you're not in the black side, you're not in the white side. You're basically keeping in the grey area where everything is pretty on par with who you are. You're not siding too much on the you know, the negative side. You're not siding too much with the light, because once we sort of side too much on one side, the energetic pendulum will come along and say, hang on, just get back in the center, and we can swing from extremes. That's when our, you know, emotions can go from one extreme to the next, because we're sort of trying to find our balance. So it's what you will get rid of is things that take you to that extreme, you know, swinging from one side to the other. You will find your balance in between. You will start to become more fruitful once you release things that are held inside, and stay with the flow. Now the second card is quite interesting as well. The second card is the moon. Now, the High Priestess, as you can see, she's got a moon down at her feet, and she's also got one on her head. She's got the 3 different phases of the moons on her hat. So the moon here on area 2, this is what you will accomplish. Now, understanding that, you know, we're releasing things from the High Priestess, the moon, it relates to our unconscious fears, our worries. Again, you can see the 2 towers, you can see the balance. So it's got a lot to do with balance. Again, keeping that balance, removing things that don't keep us balanced, that take us out of balance. The crustacean at the bottom, it's a pretty tough shell on the outside. I mean, especially with crayfish. I think lobsters are the same. They really grow thick shells, and the thick shells help protect them. When they grow out of their shells, which they do, they become very vulnerable. Now we're ready for those vulnerabilities to come up from our unconscious. We're ready to release them, because we know that once we release them, see all the yods here coming from the sun and the moon. So there's going to be light shining down on things that have been hidden in your life. And you're going to be rewarded, because a lot of those yods here, they're basically called God's promise, or source promise, universe promise, however you'd like to describe it. You know, the Creator's promise. Everything that's coming to you, towards you. So highlighting things from your unconscious, from your subconscious, and allowing your vulnerabilities to come out to deal with them, that's going to help move you, keep you balanced. You're removing things that you don't need anymore. Now, this is a card, it's 18, which reverts down to a 9. Now, 9s are endings. As they go on to 10 is the exact ending, because it's a start of a new beginning. You've got the 1 and the 0. 9s are a completion, but they're not a full completion. So there's still work that needs to be done. So with these 2 cards here, it's releasing. You're basically tearing things from yourself, because you know now, you can see what you don't need. You can see how it was hindering you from the past. Now the 3rd card here, this goes with it. So it's basically saying that this 3rd card goes with the 1 and the 2. Now the 3rd card is the 9 of Swords. So again, it's releasing. Every time we cry, you know, we release something. We release the loss of who we once were. We release the old habits that we had. We release the parts of ourselves that were basically fighting against ourselves, because that's basically what we do. You know, we fight against ourselves, because parts of us still want us to remain small. It's the egoic parts of us that we sort of, you know, tend to fight, tend to want to, you know, release. And the ego won't let go. The ego will fight to the death, basically, because it's I don't want to go. You know those times where, you know, you've wanted, think, a packet of chips or something, and you think, no, I'm on a diet. But then your mind goes, oh, but if you get one, we won't have one tomorrow, we'll start it tomorrow. You go, okay then. Then the next day the same thing happens, maybe a block of chocolate or something. And it's like, oh, okay then. It'll help calm my nerves. So you sort of, the ego is sort of putting suggestions in your mind by saying it'll help calm your nerves, because you have been a little bit anxious, but that's the ego coming up. And it's the change, because it knows a change is coming. It knows you want change. It knows you want to move forward. But this is why we need to get it under control, so that it will work for us, not we work for it, you know, feeding us chocolate all the time, or, you know, biscuits or chips or whatever. So they're the changes that occur. Now, the swords going up, in other cards, you can see them sometimes holding onto the sword by the actual, you know, the sword part, the knife, the sharp part. It doesn't seem very sharp. So this could be a ladder coming out. You know, we're releasing and letting go. And again, this is a number 9. So there are endings coming up for you. It's just a matter of going through that process and understanding that there's layers coming off. You're starting to, you know, learn new things. You're unlearning what you used to know, and that takes time. So that's card 3. Now card 4, this will bring you luck. Now again, we have a card which denotes balance. Now that's a number 5 card. It's a 14, temperance, which relates to number 5. Now it's understanding that you're living in 2 worlds. You're basically living in the spiritual world and the physical world. It brings hope, it brings inspiration, it brings healing, and again it brings balance. It's also saying that you're not alone on this journey. We're with you, we're behind you, we're helping you. We're helping you fill your cup in places where you need more strength. You start to become more resilient from the times, from the tumultuous times, from the endless, you know, endless times of being vulnerable and allowing these things to come up from your unconscious, the old fears, the old doubts, and just to keep sort of fighting and fighting as we do for the transformation to take place. But again, there's balance and there's wisdom coming, because you can see the yellow iris is there. Now, Iris was a Greek goddess, who was the Greek goddess of the rainbow. Now, as we all know, you know, every time you see a rainbow, it is Source's promise, the universe's promise that things won't happen again. Okay. I know every time I see a rainbow and I'm going through something, I just look at the rainbow and think, okay, I won't go through this again. And it's true, I won't. I may go through it in a different circumstance, but it's not for the same reason. So you can't say that, okay, I've got it, I won't go through this again, but I will go through something similar, but with different clothes on, basically. But coming back to, you know, the yellow here, there's hope here with the sun. So there's a new path emerging. Once you start sort of releasing and letting go and getting rid of things that no longer serve us. It could even be like cleaning out the garage or cleaning a closet out, getting new clothes, putting a new, you know, different ways of doing your hair. I know mine needs doing. It's something I'll be doing next week. But all these things make a difference. You see yourself differently. New clothes, you feel differently, you see yourself differently. So there is hope and healing coming through all this. But the key is to remain balanced and just know that this is a time of endings. Now, the 5th card, you will still be confronted with this, which I found quite interesting because it was the King of Swords. Now, being confronted with the King of Swords, the King of Swords is very, very direct. He's a good protector and provider. He's a good leader. So he's basically leading himself out from what he was going through, but he still retains you can see the butterflies up there with the transformation coming through as well. So he understands the transformative part, but he also needs to, remain very practical. The practicalities that you still need to work on, like the daily things you do. And it's kind of like we're not focusing on the past anymore. We're starting to move forward. So let's start thinking forward. Let's be forward thinkers. What are we going to do next? How are we going to, improve ourselves next? What are the next things we need to do? Because the rest of the cards here have been, let's release what no longer serves us. I mean, we can do that for quite some time, but we've got to come to a point where it's like, well, we can't keep focusing on the past and dealing with the past, and we're still healing, but now we can start to heal moving forward. We can start to release things as we're moving forward. So it's almost like coming to the crossroads here. Now we can move forward. We're not going to turn left. We're not going to turn right like we did previously. We're not going to allow things to disrupt our inner peace and our happiness. We're going to start creating our kingdom, our kingdom of truth within us. And we're going to make it really sturdy and strong. So this is why the King of Swords is here. I mean, it takes no prisoners, really. It doesn't take any, no bullshit. He doesn't want any. He wants the truth. He wants forward movement. He wants to make sure that his kingdom is strong, sturdy, and everyone knows what they're doing. And when I say everyone knows what they're doing, as we're multidimensional beings, the different parts of ourselves that we've been dealing with over the past couple of years, everyone is in agreement that now we're moving forward. There's no more fighting. There's no more confusion. There's no more, but I want to do this, but we got to do this. It's all parts of us, body, mind, soul, our emotions, our mental bodies. We're all moving forward as one collective being. And this is why the King of Swords is here. Now the last card at the top, the solution as a blessing. Now when I looked at this card, I'm thinking, my gosh, it looks a bit, how can that be a blessing? But when you really look at the depth of the card, he's still holding on to the wand. He's still holding on to the initial bit of inspiration that set him on this journey. Looking back at everything that, he's grown through the stages of wands that he's walked through. Because you walk through the different suits in the deck. And the different suits mean different things, which I'll bring up in another video. But he looks really battered and bruised. And I thought, I asked the card, I said, how can that be a blessing? He's kept the hope. He's kept the inspiration. He's kept hold of the dream that he had in the beginning, at the start of this journey. Even though he's been battered here and bruised there, but it's just made him more resilient. And that's the blessing of this card, the Nine of Wands. So previously we had the Nine of Swords. We now have the Nine of Wands. We had the Moon, which is 18, which is another 9. So you can see the energy that's come through this reading here is about endings. It's the end of a chapter, and now is the beginning of a new chapter where you're cutting through the bullshit. You know what you want your kingdom to look like. You're now moving forward and thinking forward. You're putting plans down for your future. Getting rid of the past. But we're not living in the past anymore. We're moving forward. Just like this guy here, holding on to his initial dream. And he's become more resilient and stronger in the process. So it's a reflection on what you've done, what you've been walking through for the past how many years. It could be 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 15 years. But you've made it. You've got there. So congratulations. Be proud of yourself, because not everyone can go through this journey. Well, no one goes through this journey unscathed, you know, it's not all unicorns and, you know, popcorn. So what is it, unicorns and balloons? No, I can't think of it now. Unicorns and popcorn will be fine. So you've done it. You've closed a chapter, or closing a chapter. With the 9s are not yet a completion, but there's still a couple of things to do. Strengthening your will, strengthening your resolve to move forward. So your kingdom here will be stronger, more resilient, more determined, and will have more ideas and be able to conquer more by what you've been through. And I thought that was a pretty good spread. What did you think? There will be some more spreads that I'll bring out from this book. There's quite a few spreads in there that I'll use, and I really enjoyed using that spread. I don't usually use spreads. I just generally put the cards out, but I think now. I used to use spreads, and then I sort of went to just sort of doing what I, just putting the cards out. But I think coming back to this spread here, I think it gives a good foundation, because you're basically giving each card a duty, a service that needs to be done. You're giving them, a question. Okay, I want you to answer this question for me. And as it comes out, as your intuition comes out as well, it answers that question. And the cards that have come out for that reading have just been absolutely fantastic. So let me know in the comments whether you like that reading, or whether you'd like some more spreads, which I'll do some more spreads. And I'm still working on the healing with the Major Arcana. So that's it for me. Thank you for your time. Have a great day, rest of your day, or day tomorrow, evening, wherever you are in the world, and take care. Bye.